I'm Dr. Paul Dyckman, and it's a pleasure to be presenting today on a new way of doing M&E planning. Some of us find the traditional way somewhat cumbersome and painful. There is a new way, and it's the DoView visual M&E planning approach, and that's what I'll be talking about today. I'd like to thank the conference organisers for letting me present in a video format. You'll be watching the video, and then you'll have some group discussion about the points that have been raised. So let's get on with it. The traditional approach to M&E planning has been to write out a long text-based M&E plan. Spend a long time wordsmithing that, making sure the full stops are in the right place, paragraphs are right, and the sentences. This does take a long time, and the problem with it is that many stakeholders these days don't have enough time to even read these plans that we produce. Sometimes we're the only one who really reads all the way through them. And that means that the stakeholders don't get a feel for whether we're measuring the important versus the easy to measure. They don't know whether we're measuring the important things and evaluating important things, or just the easy to measure and the easy to evaluate. This isn't the way it should be. There is an easier way of going about it, and that's DoView visual M&E planning, which is what we're going to talk about. The DoView approach works on presenting the M&E plan in an entirely visual way rather than the traditional text-based report, planning report way. And the plan is built using DoView M&E software, a particular type of software I've been involved in developing for planners, evaluators and program measurement staff, a handy tool for them to work with things like visual M&E plans. The M&E plan using a visual approach is built around a program logic, program theory, theory of change, a log frame, a type of log frame, and we draw them in a particular way according to a set of rules, and we call them outcomes DoViews, but they're just basically a visual model of the program which we're going to monitor and evaluate. Now this approach is a lot faster than a traditional approach to writing an M&E plan. You can actually write these or build these visual plans in about 1/2 the time it takes to build write a traditional M&E plan. So it's a real saving of time, which these days is really, really important as we all try to be more efficient and use our resources more efficiently. With these plans, it's much easier to see what is being measured and what's not. It's just that idea of a picture is worth 1,000 words. And in this case, having a picture or a visual approach to M&E planning just makes it a lot easier for stakeholders and others to understand what we are monitoring and evaluating. Stakeholders tend to find these plans much easier to access, and they're very easy to amend. If you want to change them, you can change them very, very quickly because you just change a few things on the visual M&E plan. You don't have to worry about wordsmithing whole parts of a text-based M&E plan as we have traditionally done. Because we can change the DoView plan so fast, we can continuously update it. So it becomes a living document of our M&E planning. So we don't just produce an M&E plan and then put it to one side as we might have done in the past. We use the same DoView model to plan and get approval for the M&E work, and then to control our M&E work as we go along in the course of implementing it. The same DoView file is used for all presentations on our M&E work. So we don't have to have a whole lot of other PowerPoint and other presentation files. We just present using the DoView. And this whole video has been created just using DoView slides within it, and you can see DoView is a simple presentation tool. And then lastly, we can actually, if we do have some other files, Word files or spreadsheet files, we can link out to them from within the DoView file. So the DoView file becomes a knowledge management tool. It manages all of our information about our M&E planning as we go forward. And in that way, it saves us time and keeps our knowledge management nice and organized. Now this approach can be used to integrate M&E with planning. And this is a theme which is emerging these days. A little while ago I was in South Africa running a workshop on our DoView approach for the UNFPA, and they talked about putting the planning back into M&E, putting the P back into M&E. And what they meant was linking planning with monitoring and evaluation. A very sound idea. The great thing about the DoView visual M&E planning approach is this basic outcomes DoView, which lies underneath the M&E planning, can equally be used for the strategic planning for the project. So you can, if you wish, have a tight integration between project planning and M&E, something which everybody these days is trying to achieve in their work. The DoView visual M&E planning approach has 5 steps. I'm going to run through those 5 steps now in a moment, and then I'll take you through an example which will show you how you can apply those 5 steps. Here they are here. And the first step is drawing an outcomes DoView. That's drawing the visual model of what's happening in the program that we are doing the M&E work on. The second step is to put indicators onto that visual model. We just take the visual model and then put our indicators next to the boxes within the model, as you will see when I do that in a minute. The third step is to do the same with evaluation questions. We just put those evaluation questions onto the visual model next to the boxes they apply to. The next step in the DoView process is to develop the monitoring and evaluation projects which will measure the indicators and which will answer the evaluation questions we've just identified. That's the fourth step. And the last step is to report back onto the same visual model the results of monitoring and evaluation, to dashboard those results so people can see what's happening about program progress over time.